one. Thank you so much for coming to check out another episode of the Stash Cast, where we have interesting conversations with interesting people. I focused on the world of commercial real estate and prop tech. The Stash Cast is brought to you by Needle. What if you could use data and analytics to predict real estate transactions before they occur? You can with Needle. Come check it out at needle, nedl.us to learn more. All right, today I have the one, the only, the amazing Mike Ealy with us today, my friend and client. So Mike, I know who you are, but maybe if you want to start out, give the folks at home a little idea of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so man, starting this journey literally went from broke to millions, man. Like this the true saga. I started off early with a two-family, with no money down, and then I grew to about 13 units, and then owned a car wash, and with no system, no process, no procedures in place, I lost everything, and literally went homeless. And then I came back and started doing projects for fee base, right, as a realtor. And from there, the Great Recession came. And then I got into multifamily, where I was buying them literally for pennies on the dollar, man. I was buying multi-units for 4,000 a door. Like I don't think those days are ever coming back. I wish
Yeah,
they were. That was crazy.
it
And
was.
then got into some hotels. And now we have hotels, apartments, over 4 hotels, over 1,000+ units. And we have a large consulting group where we help people acquire apartments and hotels as well.
Yeah, I feel like you've undersold yourself here a little bit, but you've got truly an amazing story. I always thought, and learning something new right now, I always thought that you had run into some trouble in the Great Recessions, but it was prior to that.
Prior to the great, actually, my failure prepared me for the Great Recession. As like I said, I started off with two family, and I read literally. I was thinking about getting into the stock market, and I came across a book that was about junk bonds. I don't even know if you know about junk bonds, but that was the
Yeah.
thing that was in there. And then the minimum investment was $50,000. And literally back then, that was like 300,000. I was like 16 years old when I read that book. I literally put that book back on the shelf, and I ran into a book, Robert Allen, and it talked about no money down, OPM, how to leverage other people's money using credit cards, your 401k, and so forth. And I utilized that to buy my first property. And as I continued to grow, I had this car wash, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't save for a rainy day, didn't have escrows, and I lost everything. And in failure, man,
Mm.
guys, a lot of times when people fail, they're afraid to talk to people. They're afraid to tell people what's going on. And literally, I was about to lose everything in front of everybody, and nobody would have known what's going on. And I told my god sister one day, and she was like, "Boy, you crazy. Why didn't you say something? We could have been making money." He was like, "Look, we're going to do this short sale. We're going to sell this property. And then after we do the short sale, we're going to make you some money, and you're going to get out of these deals. And you're going to start all over." And that's exactly what happened. Like, she did a short sale. I had no idea what a short sale was.
Yeah.
No idea. And we went to the bank. We negotiated a deal. And through that process, I learned how to do short sales and buy non-performing notes, which then prepared me for when the Great Recession came, because everybody was selling off their stuff and all these notes were selling for pennies on the dollars. And I helped multiple people either buy their property or sell it off via short sale or buying their note back.
Wow. That's amazing. So you are a native of Cincinnati, but you're now doing projects all over the world. You're certainly, you guys still have some assets here in town, but you're building a hotel now down in
Yeah.
Sarasota, right?
Sarasota, one of our first largest development, $120 million development. We're doing 35 condos, 120 key hotel, a little bit of retail. We got hotels in Indiana, Columbus, Oklahoma, looking for deals international. So yeah, we're getting there, but a different type of journey, I'll say.
Yeah. I know apartments inside and out, but what would you say are the main differences between hotels and apartments?
hotels are amazing, but with hotels, it's like the market flows. When the market is good, man, the hotels are killing it. The market's down, yeah. And it's like COVID, right? Hotels were shut down, but that's when I went to buy. I
Hmm.
bought a lot of my deals during COVID, and they're working out pretty great for me. But the biggest difference with hotels is the cost. Now, no matter what, you're buying assets based on the cash flow, the NOI, right?
Yeah.
And so, what a lot of people don't know is you can actually buy a hotel cheaper than you can get some large apartment complexes.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy. For example, everything's about the cash flow. So if you got an apartment complex that has $1 million NOI, if it's a good place, Florida, some parts of Cincinnati, you're going to pay a six cap for that. So
Sure.
that's what, 16 million
Sure.
versus
Yeah.
you can get that same cash flow in a hotel at an eight cap and only pay 12 million. So that's some of the great things about that. Then on top of it, you can, don't get me wrong, when you start getting into large apartments, you're going to either be vertically integrated or you're going to bring a third party management. They're supposed to be a little sophisticated. When you bring it in a staff or a hotel, they pretty much zeroed in and focused in on that one hotel. So they're not focusing on 400 or 500 units. That staff is focused on that one hotel. And then on top of it, the tax benefits are even bigger than a hotel, up than an apartment building. Like you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a business and you're getting real estate. And so with that, I get so many write-offs and bigger depreciation, accelerated
Mhm.
depreciation on these hotels. So those are the amazing benefits. And then sometimes the cash flow is even better. And with apartments, you're stuck with that one rent that you sell. So if rent is $1,000 for the month, that's what is that a day? $30 a day? Is that right?
Yeah.
$80?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes, whatever. I can't do the math there. I can change my rent on my hotel daily. One day I'm at $95. The next day I could be $400. Like when, so just to give you an idea, on a regular night, the average daily rate, as we talking daily, my hotels probably averages about $109 a day
Okay.
per per key. We talking keys. Whereas the but when the eclipse came, just to give you an idea,
Yeah.
the daily rate jumped up to $300. And so a decent day for me, we're average about 10,000 a day in revenue.
Okay.
That day we did $30,000 and I did it like 3 days in a row.
Wow.
And so you got to realize we have, I don't know, 300 to 300,000 to 500,000 gross revenue in one month for 100 and something keys.
So usually when we're looking at apartments, the expense ratio is anywhere between 35 to 50%. What are typically the expense ratios for hotels?
You're around that 70/30, 70 going to expenses, 30 going to your NOI, depending on
Okay.
the brand. So like extended stay, you're probably more like 40% NOI, 40, 45. Extended stay is like a residence in, what else is another one? Home two suites, right? Where they
Hmm.
got kitchen that's in there. Then when you get into the limited service, like a Hampton Inn, a Comfort Suites, a Fairfield Inn, now you start to drop in that 25, 30. And then when you get into full service, it gets a little smaller. You get about 20%, 20, 25.
Do you have a particular, it's just in apartments, you have class A, B, C, affordable, student, etc. Do you have a particular flavor of the hospitality that you like to function within?
Yeah, so most hotels are class A, right? Or B. Now, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. You see an older travel lodge on the corner that it's, I don't know where to put that category, but
Yeah.
I'm in love. I think I really, after having a few, I'd like the extended stay model. You don't have a lot of turnover. And when I say turnover, literally people are staying for 4 to 5 days, even months. Like
Really?
piece of traffic and they can stay there for a while. Like I got an old, like in Oklahoma, I got an old group and it's another group. And when they come, they taking 20 something rooms and they can stay 6 months at a time.
Wow.
Right. And so that's like to me, that's like my base of business. In apartments, that's like your commercial / Section 8, but not Section 8, right?
Sure.
So that's your guaranteed rent. And so when you're doing hotels, your whole goal is to what I call shrink the hotel, get a solid base of revenue coming in every month. And so if you shrink up your hotel, which your commercial base, Section 8, now you got 60% of your 50% of your hotel book. Now, if excuse me, you're charging, I don't know, $90 to $100 a night for them. Any other transient traffic, you're charging 135, 150 for. So you got a base, it helps increase your revenue. So sales in the hotels is considered leasing in apartments. So when you have that kind of thing there and a good base, like hotels could be really great, but it's a lot of moving parts.
How'd you get into hotels? Because I knew you forever as an apartment guy.
Yeah, that was an accident. I was meeting a lot of people in hotels, and honestly, it's twofold. I ended up getting a development opportunity and to partner with the University of Cincinnati. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I had this development opportunity where we could do this $70 million development. And I came to this guy, a guy named Bergie I know. I was like, yo, he owned a Hampton Inn hotel. And I was like, yo, let's go. We got this opportunity. We can get this deal. Let's build some commercial office space in an apartment. He was like, no, we're going to build 2 hotels. And then that was it. I was like, okay, you said it. But the timing wasn't there. You had a lot of moving parts. Project didn't work out. But ever since then, I wanted a hotel. And I would meet all these hotelers, and they just had this different look to them, man. Like I remember I would be at the airport and I'll see some of them getting out of their car, Escalade, because we're going to a convention. And they just had this different swag and they were so relaxed and just so happy, no worries in the world. I was like, I need to get me a hotel. And then after owning, I was like, oh, I see why they have that look. Like you've tried so many different things. You go ups and down. You got to be really flexible in a hotel game, because unless you're a destination area, you're going to have a downtime between like December and mid-February. Like that's your slow time. That you're rocking and rolling. As soon as February and March come, you're like literally increasing every month in revenue and occupancy. Now, unless you're like in Florida, some parts of Florida, like literally 4 seasons, like it doesn't matter. They're year round.
Right.
But like some parts of Florida where it gets too hot, their strong season is more like October to April. And then May, June, and July, August is, I wouldn't say it's slow, but it's slower.
Yeah, I've been to Arizona in the summer. It's very hot, and that's their off time.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, people like in Sarasota, a lot of people from Sarasota, they go to the Bahamas for the summer. I was like, why are you leaving your own place? Like, I didn't get that. Like, how do you leave Sarasota to go somewhere else? But I get it. It'd be hot. It'd be hot.
Yeah. Yeah, it does get hot down there. I'm curious too, because you have, aside from being a real estate investor, you've also built a bit of like a media empire for yourself.
Yeah.
How have you done that, and why did you decide to walk down that path?
It's pretty funny, man, because a lot of the stuff I planned out to do was not what I planned to do. Like real estate. That day, I had every intention in getting into junk bonds. And then here comes real estate. Like I read a book and it just gave me all the fundamentals. And I was like, I can do this. There's no way, I like to call it idiot proof. This book was idiot proof. I didn't even like to read. And I sat in that library and read that whole book when I was 16 years old. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And really for the media, I brought my guy Win on, and he was helping me out with marketing and blogging, and we were on Bigger Pockets, and he was like, we need to get on social media. I was like, I don't want to do that. Like that, no. And he was like, no, we got to get on social media. It's like, I promise it's going to be big. We're going to raise capital. We're going to meet people. We're going to find more deals. I said, yeah, whatever. And we got started, and I was like, oh, snap, this is real. We started getting more deal leads. I met some of my investors, a lot of investors. Like through social media, I raised like $15 million on just for 2 deals. Like that was the power. Social media has been a great connection for me, and just doing it organically. And now I wish I went harder during COVID, but I was like, I'm just doing it. But now
Was that when you got started? Was
right before COVID. That's when we started getting on social media. And if I would have really been strong and connecting it, like who knows where we would have been at with that. But now we've been around some of the biggest names in social media from YouTube. I've met all of them, from Mr. Beast, Myron Golden. I've been at all the conventions. To be a celebrity, to be a edutainer, we've met all those guys now. And we got all the different systems and how to grow that. So we'll be leveraging our platform even more to do bigger things, because our whole goal really is to help people attain transformation. Yes, we're in it to do more real estate, but my goal is I want to see people that felt like they couldn't have done it. They stuck on the W-2, or some are in the business and not sure how to scale up. We're here for them to provide so much value for them that they transform and that they can obtain any desired dream that they want.
That's amazing. So as you've built, I'm curious, as I'm doing this, I started this as a way to get the word out about Needle, but I'd like to be able to turn this into something, I don't know, bigger, maybe a standalone on itself. What advice would you have for me or somebody like myself?
Somebody starting off on social media and want to get on this, like this right here is your platform, right?
Yeah.
This is the beginning, this is the easiest, but you want to get yourself out there and show everybody what Needle can do.
Mm.
And here's the crazy thing. I know this a lot of people think, but it's so much the opposite. You're not supposed to sell it. You're not selling it. You need to show how Needle provides so much value that they have to have it. Give, and then people start asking. You want to grow stupidly big or small, literally you reap what you sow, and you begin to plant these seeds and you show how you provide in value. I wish if I had to do it all over again, I would have gave so much more value before we start doing courses. Like you want to grow your audience, you want to grow a base. Like you grow that audience so much, they're going to end up buying from you forever.
Yeah.
Because you always gave to them. You always provided them information. You helped them obtain their transformation. And not only that, you help them avoid the pitfalls of failure with all the information that you provide them. You gave them guidance. And a lot of people, they're afraid to get to this point. And I say to you, a lot of people, by being afraid to fail, you're failing to obtain your opportunity, right? Because through failures, that's where we learn. But it's also your opportunity to grow. And so I just encourage you, man, to just share your information, share as much, and who cares, right? Yes, you can go get coaches and they can teach you about Instagram and they're going to teach you about, you got to have a hook, you got to have a story. Just get your camera, start recording, and every day do better and educate yourself. And just have fun. Don't worry about it. Have fun. You're going to get better. And you probably won't get any views. People probably won't like it. You're probably for Stash now, probably everybody will. But honestly, when people start doing podcasts, it don't be till they 50 or 60, some 100th show till they even got some momentum going.
Yeah.
It's a process. And so be in love with the process. Now, the person who's in love with the process will go further than the person who's in love with the destination.
Sure, 100%. And I was talking to a friend of mine last week. And I've been listening to a lot, not everyone, but I've listened to a lot of them, and it sounds like you're having fun with it. And I definitely am, because I have conversations like this anyway. And my thought was, I might as well record them and put them out there. And yeah, I'm not getting overnight success or traction like that, but I don't, that's not necessarily what I'm out for, what I'm doing. It's just, this gives me a great opportunity to connect with you and others. Yeah,
I will say, I wish we got to hang more. I saw you more when we first began our careers.
yeah,
And I would love to see you on that lacrosse field, although your son has gave it up.
yeah. He's running track now, so you got to let him make their own decisions. But he was really good. He's the
I
problem
get
with
it.
him, if you can say that, is that he's really good at everything he does.
I love it. I
So
love it. Yeah,
yeah.
no, same. My son's playing rugby now. Like Mikey,
Oh,
he went
great.
across to football. He's still gonna play football,
Yep.
but now they moved him all the way up to varsity on rugby.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
he's having a great time. So just be there, support him, and share the game with him. But now your son is a freshman now or sophomore?
He's a freshman. Yeah.
Yeah. What is he? 6'2", 6'1"? What is
He's
he?
6'3", 180 pounds. He's a big dude.
God, God, I love it.
Yeah.
I
You
love
still
it.
got to rough him up a little bit to show him who's in charge. But yeah, he's a good kid. We love him for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Let's see. Maybe if you could share, I'd love to hear more about, you wrote a book, From Broke to
Mhm.
Millions. Maybe some of what's in that, or the courses that you're doing. I'm curious to hear more about that side of your life as well.
Yeah, so we wrote a book, and really it's a true story about me and my process of how literally I lost everything to go into millions. But inside the book, I share with people how they can do it themselves. Like literally, and like as I got right here, this book right here will show people how they can do it themselves. I talk about analyzing deal, how to find a deal, how to raise capital, but also getting the mindset. One of the big things about some people, they didn't even know they could do multifamily. They thought that was just for certain people, right? Stash, seriously, when we first started, we were like, oh my gosh, they did a 40 unit, they did $1 million
Yeah.
deal,
Yeah.
right? Now we're like,
Maybe I'll take a look at that. I don't know.
now it's crazy, but we're doing like 30, 50, $100 million deals now.
Yeah.
But it's all about setting yourself up in the setting. But you do that with starting with a goal, and that's a big goal. I like to call them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals.
Mhm.
And when you begin to start setting these BHAGs, like things that you have no idea that's a reality, because that's the only reason why I'm here. Like with prayer and scripture and goals, that's the only reason I'm here. And I have to say, I failed my way to success. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what a cap rate was. I didn't know what a price per square foot or internal rate of return. Like I didn't know any of these things. I just felt it was a deal. So I did it. And we were profitable. And share the hardships I went through. No matter what you do in life, disruption always follows intention. And multiple times, like my goal was to build wealth, but I end up being broke and homeless and couch surfing, and I had drive a car that had 4 flat tires every morning, right? Literally I had to shake the battery in my car to get it started every day. And but I just didn't quit. Like I was like, it's just a stepping stone. I'll get over it. Now, don't get me wrong, it was frustrating and I don't regret it, but I don't want to renew it either. But I'll talk about that all in the book on how to overcome it and then how you can acquire apartments as well. And I talk about my first $1 million deal that we netted. And I talk about how to analyze where to find it and how to put your team together and how to use OPM. Like just amazing thing that some people like now people pay, I got people to pay anywhere from I don't know, man. They pay 25,000 to 150,000 for consulting with us, taking our courses. And I'm not saying that to brag, like that's what they do, but I'm telling you, you can get it just with this book. 20, what we sell it, $25, man. And if you want to take our course, great. Love to have you. But get the book. If you're struggling or you want to scale, this is a great opportunity for you.
On the subject of capital raising, and maybe it falls also into what you mentioned earlier about giving value, what have you found as how have you found success in capital raising by giving value? Do you have examples that you might share?
Yeah, so first of all, when I first went out to raise capital, let me tell you the one thing you don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
It's going out, raise capital, and talk the entire time about yourself, okay? No one cares. Just know no one cares. So when you're in there, oh, I did 100 unit and I made this much money, no one cares. What they care about is how long are you going to keep their money? Can I trust you? What type of return are you going to give me? And so what I do is I'm solving problems. You have to understand there's people out there that have money problems, but not your typical money problem. They got too much money.
Yeah.
Or they don't have time to grow their money. And so I provide a system that allows them to grow their money, that they can do it and not have to worry about it. And we give them a great return in return for that. So I solve people's problems. And so when you understand you're solving people's problems, you're providing value for them. And so that's what we're doing. And by growing, by providing value, by providing investment vehicles to help people get to their investment destination, there's people that love their job. I got doctor friends and chiropractors and surgeons. They don't want to quit their job. They love what they do. And it's because of that, we're able to solve their problem and they invest.
That's great. You've had great success. You have a beautiful family. How do you think you instill that same work ethic into your kids? Have you thought about that? I'm sure you have.
We're really getting to that point right now. So I can tell you the one thing about kids. I was fortunate to have older partners and watch. I got to watch first, second, and third generation money. That third generation different. Like a lot of third generation feels entitled,
Yeah.
right? Like they feel entitled, like literally calling the home office every day, like, where's my check? Boy, do you know what it took to get this money? And watching other families go through it, it helped me with stabilizing and growing my family as well. But I didn't want to push them. I know I had to educate them because I was like, look, man, Pop's going to check out of here one day and you're going to have to understand hotels, apartments, and housing. Like you don't have a choice because you're going to end up getting some of this.
Right.
So I got to teach you about that. But I think one of the things is, just like I shared with you, but you got to create value. You got to help people. But you got to understand this. And then I know my kids were like, I know a lot of our kids have trouble. They're on YouTube all day, but not for education. They're on that video game.
Right.
And got the ear pods in their ear. And I'll never forget my son was in there. Where was he at? One day he was in the closet. Literally, his mom took his phone and he was holding the laptop trying to get dressed with his ear pods with a big laptop. I was like, if you ain't the dumbest son of a biscuit. And I was like, since then, I was like, look, man, we're going to learn how to do this real estate. We're going to learn how to operate business. And son, you only got 2 years left in this house. Like you're going off to college. And it's not that I'm against you getting a job, but the reality is AI is taking over. And so you're going to have to be competitive. It's just competitive to get into school. And so I started having these talks and talking about goals and what he wants to accomplish. And once we did this, the light bulbs kicked on. And now he's at an age, he's always talked about money, but now I think he's ready to make that commitment. And like now, every Saturday, we're having conversations about real estate.
That's awesome. That's great. You talked a little bit about AI, and that's what we're working with a little bit. How do you use it? And then what are your thoughts on how it's going to change the real estate business and industry for that matter?
Blockchain, AI. Blockchain is going to start taking out title companies here soon.
Yeah.
Like literally like you're going to be able to do a closing, confirm it, have all these databases, keep track of it. Like things are going to transfer and you're not going to need a title company. All can be done through AI. I have AI returning phone calls and nobody realizes that.
Do you really? You haven't gotten any negative pushback on that?
No, it's a slight delay, but you may think they may be from a different country or something or it's just the internet or something, but they have no idea.
Wow.
They answer the questions and great. And my point is, that's just what I'm using it for right now. There's restaurants right now, like a Burger King or a McDonald's, I saw have nothing but robots already.
Yeah.
I can only imagine where it's going to be. Like my son's 15, like by the time he's 27. It just reminded me, like the other day I was watching the story of Jeff Bezos, and I don't know what, he kept talking about the internet, and I'm laughing because he's talking about my mind shifted to back in 1990 or something, or whatever he did this. And he's talking about creating a library that holds all the books in the world on the internet because the internet's growing at 2,300% a year. And you're gonna call it this internet business. Like, you got to be crazy.
Right.
Right? Now look where Amazon is.
They're on top. They're massive.
Right? And AI, now people really recognize this. I think more on the people with social media in that category because we're leveraging that a lot more to automate things. And we see a lot of things that they're producing outside of the robots. And so I think it's going to be a huge factor. It's going to take a lot of jobs. And so we're in this age now where people can take advantage. Put it like this. Even though that's going to take over, people have, if they seize it now, this is the easiest time to make $1 million in your life if you take the opportunity right now.
Yeah.
And learning how to leverage and learning how to utilize online systems is going to be transformational.
For sure. How else? So you said you're using an AI to answer phone call or answer return phone calls. What other technologies are you using?
I had to get that one for you. The staff handles that, but yeah, I don't even know what that's like. Because every time I come, there's a different AI. There's Chat AI, and Chat GPT, and this other guy that reproduces your whole thing. Then there's some that shoots you, do your own videos for you. Like, I can't keep up, man.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's technology coming out every day with some of these gadgets.
Do you think that some of this technology will be in the replacing of or eliminating of jobs will just lead to we don't have buggy whips anymore or slide rules? Do you think that people will just adapt to the new technologies or are we going to be completely replaced?
They're going to have to adapt, but then now here's the one thing people don't really talk about. Whenever there's new technology, it also creates new opportunities and new jobs. So just because AI is taking some jobs, some new jobs are going to be created. Like you're going to have some programmers to program these AIs. You're going to have people to maintenance these AIs. This kind of goes back when you studied the different economic ages. We started off in the agricultural age, right? And if you didn't have land, you weren't wealthy or livestock. But then to make the jobs easier, they started creating different machines to plow, to harvest. And so those started taking jobs away, but yet you created jobs. So most when you solve a problem, in actuality, you created another problem. And so that's where we have growth. So you had the agricultural age, and then from the agricultural age, we had manufacturing. And when the manufacturing age came, we was doing the industrial. And so we had all these assembly lines, right? But then we moved out of the industrial age, and that's why we got all these manufacturing buildings that now you convert into different schools and other different parts of real estate. Like every problem gets solved with another problem. And now where we at? You had the information age, where now we're in this conceptual age. I think, yes, jobs will be eliminated, but a lot more jobs will be created and a lot more opportunities. It's just, you're going to have to tune in and figure out what it is that you want. And it's all about timing. A lot of times we jump in too soon. Timing is everything.
Sure. Yeah, you have the very early adopters who may go out and trailblaze things, but they may not be the ones that hit it and take full advantage of something.
Yeah, it's like real estate, man. How many times have you seen a deal come across your desk and you'll be like, yeah, I don't want that, or it's not too good, and then you pass. But then all of a sudden this guy comes and bam, takes off with the market.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I couldn't even imagine. I never saw that coming. But I've seen numerous deals like that explode. So, everything's just timing, man.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot through my career. When I started, I was trying to sell things at 10,000 a unit and couldn't get any traction. And now I bought a shell building for 40,000 a unit. Jeez Louise. Like I used to sell stabilized deals with that.
We thought 25,000, 30,000 a door was it, bro. Now 70, 125. Like, it's bananas. But even this, you've been in Cincinnati, rents were in that, for a C property, rents were $300 to $600 for years.
Yeah. For
years, like I think around 2016, 17, that's when it started. And now those one bedrooms that were rent for $400 or $500, now they're $900 or $1,100.
Yeah, it used to be $450, now it's like $900.
And I grabbed some buildings at the right time. Literally, I grabbed a C property in Carthage, which is a property I passed on it 4 times. Nate was like, we can get it, we can push the rent. And I just sold one of our 48 units where we were getting $500 for the ones and they were only charging $300. I was like, yes, we got a $200 upside on this per unit. Let's do it. And right in the middle of all of that, those one bedrooms went from $500 to $830. Like, we crushed it. That changed the value so much. Do you realize what $50 does? For $50, people say, why you love real estate? I can go in and increase the rents on a 100 unit, $50. So what that brings me, extra $5,000 a month and an extra $60,000 a year. And I think if you divide that by a 7.5 cap, that creates $800,000 in value.
Right.
Just by increasing the rent by $50. And you know what's so great about it? All I did was go into my office, type a letter, and said, now your rent is $50. And I just created $800,000 in value. That's why I love real estate. I don't know about you, but that's why I love real estate, man.
Yeah. I think you and I are partners with some of the same people. What have you seen, either yourself firsthand or secondhand, be some of the keys to success in succeeding in real estate?
The key things in success is consistency. See, most people have to understand success is not a possession. It's rented, and the rents due every day. And when we're going after success, we got to understand there's peaks and valleys. There's peaks and valleys. And understand the peaks people describe are not as great as people say they are, and the valleys are not as bad as people say they are. But we must understand at that peak what we're supposed to learn and educate ourselves there as much as we're in the valley. So many people live in the valley or in the past, and they feel that's where all their educations and lessons come from. But in actuality, your success is actually dealing with your future person and your future vision. And so success, most people think I obtained my goal or I got to the destination. And really that's great. But success is when you're able to, I'll say, come up with a process that puts yourself in a setting that allows you to continue to grow. And as you continue to grow with that process or procedure, you'll actually outgrow your goal and go past your destination. But understand, success is whatever you want. It's whatever you desire. If you want to be a housewife, stay at home and raise the kids, that's successful. If you want to be a teacher, that's success. We can talk to 1,000 different people and they're going to come up with 1,000 different answers.
Sure.
But I truly believe you become in love with the process and you make the daily commitment to grow. Not only will you go past your destination, you'll become great or the greatest. It just depends on what you want. And understand a goal is not, it's a tool. Let's say that. Goal is really a tool to help you get to a benchmark to set yourself up to be in a certain setting to achieve whatever it is that you desire.
Yeah, when I first started, I set the goal for myself to be the managing director of a national multifamily investment sale firm. And here I am. I got to the top of the mountain and looking around, and it's like, all right, I'm here, but let me go take on some other challenges. So I'm doing a redevelopment deal. I took this on, and I'm building a startup at the same time. So
yeah, no, man, it's always ever evolving. And that's the whole point. And these goals will keep pushing us. But what we don't want to do is do too many things that bring up noise, but everything is bringing everything together. Like your needles, that is something people need.
thank you.
And when sourcing deals, like acquiring that needle will put them on a different playing field. Like that's providing value. That's solving people's problem. And you going out here educating people, you'll begin to transform people's lives because you're able to give them a deal flow, a pipeline, which is a lot of people out here Stash, but really Stash, you are the man. Like you were the guy that filled everybody's pipeline. And you had a work ethic that was just sick, man. I remember when you first got here, and we was like, who the fuck is this dude? Like calling everybody all the damn time. Stash, that's who it is.
Yeah.
You still have
Yeah.
time for CrossFit. Who is this guy?
I got to get that in the morning. Let's see. Because otherwise, I talk to some guys, and it's 2 p.m. They're like, oh, sorry, I'm at the gym. I'm like, how do you have time to be at the gym at 2? But different lifestyles, different priorities.
I'm a hater. That's me sometimes. I'll take my calls and go to the gym. But I'm working out. That's where I relax and keep busy.
Yeah.
You know, I may do a couple of calls there as well. But no, I need to get back to my 5 a.m. self. Literally, I used to be up at 4:30 in the morning.
You should come join me. We're right down on Wilmer. Calibrated CrossFit.
You know what time you start?
5:30.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
All right.
How often do you go?
I hurt my back last week, just not doing anything. Just, I don't know. But I usually go 5 days a week. I'll take Saturday and Sunday off, maybe do yoga on Saturday. Embers down Columbia Tusculum.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot. You sweat, but it's good.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how many teachers she got. What's her name? I'm gonna be in trouble. I think they're friends with my Andrea. Is she the teacher over there?
At Embers?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm more sporadic there.
Okay.
The CrossFit's my primary.
You're literally right down the street from me.
Yeah.
Embers is right down the street from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Calibrated's right around the corner.
Yeah. I'm in. I'll run down to the gym. That's what I need. I'll literally run to the gym, work out, and probably crawl home.
Yeah. I'll connect with you after this. I guess in We're getting almost to an hour here. What are your closing words or advice for people in real estate or business or otherwise? You're a wise man for sure.
Thanks, man. No, the biggest thing is just to do it. But I want you to get educated. Understand everybody needs a coach, right? Tiger Woods. Would you agree he's still one of the greatest, regardless how he's playing right
Sure.
now? Still one of the greatest. He's still got a golfing coach. Michael Jordan. He was one. He's still, where you want to put him, LeBron or what? He's still one of the greatest, or the greatest. He had a trainer and a coach, and so if these people are using coaches, why not you? See, amateur practices until they can get it right, but a professional does it until they can't get it wrong. And so the other thing is, dealing with a coach, you're going to profit from their pain, right? So the reason why you get a coach, because they're going to help you overcome failure and get you there faster. And we're in an age where you have to move faster. Like a lot of us, we don't have money problems. That's a symptom of the problem, but it's not the problem. And you lack of nothing. You have all the resources you need all around you. So leverage that. And so you need to buy back your time, and you do that by leveraging other people's knowledge. We talk about OPM, you're leveraging other people's money, but you can also leverage other people's time, leverage other people's knowledge. You can leverage other people's network to get you where you want even faster. And so if you did that, you'll be able to create a system that you can grow infinitely with and pass it on for generations. But you must take action and be open to new theories and ideas. Because a lot of times, man, people are closed-minded, which are just really stubborn. But if you open yourself to ideas and people and network, you'll be surprised. Like, this is related, but not 100% related. Open ideas and being open. Two people that I never thought I would learn so much from was my best friend, who's an alcoholic, like a crackhead. Like literally, I could come home literally from college and I'll find him in the middle of the street sleep on a busy road.
Jeez.
I learned how to sell by him. This was the only guy that this guy would literally go in the store. He'll have the salesperson or the whoever register laughing, and he knew what he wanted. He was intentional, and he went into the store, took a case of beer or a 12-pack, drank part of the beer while he was there, told the people he was leaving, and leave out of the store, didn't pay for anything. Literally, he stole the beer, and everybody's laughing. And I was like, how in the world did he do that? Because one of the first things he did was he was charming, and he gave people compliments, and he communicated with them, and he had them laughing. He made them feel good about themselves. All the key things of when you're selling, it's all about persuasion and creating desires. And then being biased. This is what being open-minded. Like, there's this lady, Vicky. She's a giant of a person. She might have met, I don't know. This is a good friend of mine. She's literally a dwarf. She's a small person.
Okay.
And she would sell at the time, which was really a lot and still is, but she was selling $500,000 to $1.5 million condos and houses. And people would come up to the place. And I'm telling you, for a fact, these people ain't got no money. And she would still go out and show them the real estate. And I was like, Vicky, they don't have no money? And she would be like, yeah, Mike, they probably don't. You're probably right. But they probably have a friend that has money. And I was like, man, you're crazy. Sure enough, she probably had 2 people come back and buy from her, from people she showed earlier that didn't have money. And as a black person, I was like, damn, it threw me off because I was like, damn, man, you prejudiced, and she's a little old dwarf just showing everybody every damn thing. But my point is being real open-minded, regardless of who they have and what they have. And you see that when you hang out. I don't know if you've been to one of my Christmas parties lately, but you got the melting pot of the world when I would have, and that's why I was able to grow. But you also got to stay focused, man. And if you really want to grow, forget the 80%, focus on the 20% that's really developing you, that's really generating money. Put it all in on that and you'll grow exponentially.
How do you figure out what that 80% is?
It takes time.
Yeah.
Literally, like you lay everything out, right? Because that's what we do. We want to do everything.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're going to be all over the place. Now, I'm going to tell you the good and the bad of that. But you get all over the place, then you got to look like what's really generating me money. Like it's a capital decision.
Sure.
That's not really making any money, and that's not really making money, but this does. Well, get rid of it and focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally 20% of people's business or things that they do really is 80% of what's producing. Can you imagine if you went all in on that? And that's why a lot of people grow exponentially. And that's what I've seen. A lot of times people, oh man, I'm doing this, I do that. Multiple streams of income. And that was the thing. But I found if you focus more, you can have much more of a direct impact. Because at some point, and it happened to me, like you get too many things going on and you're not focused and you're distracted. And unless you're high energy, now you're different. You're a high energy guy. I'm a little laid back. I know some people like, Mike, he's got a lot of, I'm a little laid back. I was letting go too much of the small stuff, right? Life is accumulation of decisions. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so what happened, I didn't really deal with everything. So what's going to eventually happen if you got too much and you're not dealing with everything, it's going to come back. And then what's going to happen, doubt is going to start to sink in because you're not sure, because you're doing too much. And so you're going to be double-minded. And after a while, after you got doubt, anxiety will kick in because now you got too many options and you can't make a decision. And then at some point you'll become hopeless, right? And that's when you start to get sad and then depression kicks in. And then all of a sudden you're held captive or incarcerated or in prison to this idea of spirit, all because you're doing too much. And literally, that's when you're at dis-ease or a disease comes in, and that's when the cancer and the panic attacks and these ulcers kicks in. Like this is real stuff in business. Like at some point you're going to deal with this. And I'm saying you can overcome this by just putting your focus on certain things that have the greatest impact and will cause the greatest transformation. And the thing is, but you're going to have to face yourself in the mirror and really deal with the truth. Like, what is your truth? What is it that you really want? Like, I like to say, no bullshit. What will it take? And when you do that, man, you'll be super successful. But I'm just sharing everything that happened to me so you don't have to go through those things, man. So
You're the man, Mike. Thank you so much. If people want to get in touch with you or buy your book or maybe sign up for a course, what's the best way to find you?
Man, just go to bigdealmike.com.
Bigdealcom.com.
You can find my book. You can find my podcast. You can find my courses. You can find whatever you want. Just reach out. We're here for you, whether you want to take the course or not. You can join us there and ask questions. I'm just here to help you get you to your next level.
Yeah. I would say for anybody that's listening to this, he's an awesome guy and he knows what he's talking about. So I would endorse you. I am endorsing you highly.
Thanks. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
You too, brother. Peace out.
All right.